Hey y'all, I'm Carrie, and this is Monstrous, Spooky Edition. All right, we are here and back for another episode, our spooky episode number 7. We're only a few weeks away from Halloween. So for this week, I found 13 more spooky games to play. And then we will move on to a deep dive into Halloween favorite.
Okay.
I don't have any photos that's going to go with this week's episode, so nothing that you, Ashley, or our listeners need to run and look at. All the sources, just like every other week, will be listed on our Facebook page. That link can be found in the description.
Okay.
So, let's get into our second installment of Spooky Games. And this round has a few that you may want to tread lightly with and think twice about actually playing.
All right, let's hear them.
So, the next one is called the binocular game.
The binocular game?
Yep.
Okay.
So, for this game, you'll need a few things. You'll need a flashlight for each window in your house, a paper and pen, at least 17 feet of rope, a pair of scissors, a timer, and a set of binoculars. So, before I tell you how to play the game, there are some notes and warnings to give you.
All right, let's hear them.
So, this game must be played in a house. Do not attempt to play it in any other kind of building other than a house. And if you live in that house, I suggest you do it in a house that you don't live in. If you're using battery-powered flashlights, it's recommended that you use brand new unopened batteries, because if your batteries die before you get to the window and turn the flashlight out, it could be catastrophic. So you need a friend to play this one, and that said friend must remain quiet the entire time, no matter what happens. So your friend just has to sit there and chill and not say shit. Okay, so now that you have everything you need, you're ready to play. As the sun sets, you'll start by closing and locking all the doors and windows in your house. You'll put a flashlight on each windowsill. Make sure they all have good batteries. Next, you'll set up a chair or heavy object near a door to use as an anchor. You'll tie one end of rope to the said door or heavy object. Then you will position your friend near the anchor, far enough from the door so they can't reach it, and secure the other end of the rope around them. So like tied around their waist. You must remain silent for the duration of the game.
Absolutely no speaking.
Nope. You nor your friend say anything at all for the entire game. You should be very quiet.
All right.
Because that's not eerie enough by itself. A fucking dark house. He can't talk. Okay. So you'll write the message, "We welcome you. You shall not be harmed," on a piece of paper and slide it under the door that is near your friend. At exactly 10:30 p.m., you'll turn off all the lights in the house. You will place your ear against the door and listen.
So wait, your ear against the door? No lights at all.
Nope, no lights at all. You put your ear against the door and you listen for anything that's on the other side.
Absolutely not.
Now is when the real game begins. So if you hear nothing from the other side of the door, the game is over. Do not proceed. Turn the lights on, release your friend, burn the note that you slid under the door, and it might be wise that you also leave the house. If you hear knocking, grab the binoculars and the scissors. Move around the house, checking each window one by one. As you reach each window, you will turn on the flashlight and use the binoculars to look outside until you see a figure. If you do not see the figure in a window, you will turn off the flashlight and move on to the next window. Make sure you turn the flashlight off. Do not leave the flashlight on. You will continue to do that, like I said before, until you see the figure. When you see the figure, you shout, "Forgive, for I am mistaken." You have to quickly close your eyes and reopen them and then look outside again. If the figure is gone, then the game is over. But if the figure is still there, however, you need to pray to whoever it is that you believe in that every entrance into your house is secure. Make sure you have a sharp object in your hand and be prepared to use it. Do not untie your friend and hope that the figure outside finds something else in your vicinity more interesting than you are. And then do not play this game again because next time he may get you. So, what is the friend for and why do they just have to stand there the whole time?
Exactly why.
Kind of weird. Well, it's more commonly said that they're just kind of there as comfort, to give companionship so you're not alone while you're doing this. And the rope is to keep them safe because they're tied to an anchor, right? Because it's more dangerous to be outside where the figure is than it is to be inside. So the rope is to keep them from running off outside of the house. But it's also possible that your friend serves another purpose. That purpose, you may ask? Well, it's that of bait, because why else would you tie them up? And that's the binocular game. Because that's not fucking weird and creepy.
What's weird is creepy is why do you need friends with you? Like, what are they for?
Well, like I just said, they say it's just as comfort, but I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I kind of feel like they're more as bait. Weird. So for our next one, we have the Midnight Man.
All right, let's hear it.
He is allegedly based on an old pagan punishment and puts you on the run from an entity you willingly invite into your home for over 3 hours.
3 hours?
Yep, 3 hours. No, thank you.
Absolutely not.
So the Midnight Man or the Midnight Game, depending on what source you read, can be played with as many people as you want. It's actually better, given the object of the game, to have as many players as you can get because it keeps the Midnight Man's focus divided. So this game comes with some warnings. Do not turn the lights on during the game. Do not substitute a flashlight for the candle. Do not allow yourself to fall asleep once the game has begun. Do not use someone else's blood on your paper. That's cheating. Do not try to provoke the Midnight Man in any way during the game. Your job is to stay on the run. Do not stage a confrontation with the beast. So, things you will need for this game. You need a candle, a lighter or a book of matches, a writing implement, so like a pen, pencil, whatever, a piece of paper, a wooden door that is closed, and salt. Enough salt to make a decent sized circle around yourself. So each player will need one of these items, except for the door, obviously.
Obviously.
Different sites have different things, but for the most part, these are all of these items are each thing. But if you have multiple wooden doors, then it's best to split it. But if you don't, it's not a huge deal. Everything else, though, you have to have one for each player. So you have to write your full name, first, middle, and last on your piece of paper. And then using like a push pin or something, you prick your finger and place 1 drop of blood on the paper, allowing the paper to soak it in. You'll want to play the game inside of a house or building where you have plenty of room to spread out and move around. You must break away from each other when the game begins, so you'll want room to move around without constantly being each other's way. You'll turn off all the lights in whatever place it is you're playing. So you place your paper in front of the door, light your candle, and set it on top of the paper. Now, you have the tricky part, which is initiating the game. You must knock on the wooden door 22 times.
You said 22 times?
Yes.
Okay.
And the final knock must take place at the exact moment that the clock strikes midnight. Otherwise, the game will not work.
Okay.
That's why if you can use multiple doors, it's best to use multiple doors. Because one of you is bound to hit the door at midnight at least one of you have to hit it at midnight. So after this 20-second knock, you open the door, blow out your candle, and then close the door again. After you blow your candle out, you have to immediately relight the candle. Assuming that you have followed all the rules, the Midnight Man is now in your home, and your job is to avoid him at all costs until 3:33 a.m. You should begin to walk around inside your home. You can go anywhere you want except for outside, but do not stop moving for any reason, because you have now become the prey for the Midnight Man, and he won't stop stalking you until the game ends.
Creepy.
According to entries that are found on all kinds of websites, allegedly, he can see inside your mind and dig out your deepest fears, trapping you inside a hallucination that will last until the game ends.
Now that's creepy.
Some sites even say that he may remove your organs one at a time. You will be aware of what's going on, but you are unable to stop him from doing it. You will also be unable to cry out for help from your fellow players. If your candle goes out, you have 10 seconds to relight it. If you get it relit in time, you keep moving and going about the game. If you fail to do so, you should immediately make a circle of salt around you large enough for you to sit down within the circle and stay there until the game ends. Should you feel a sudden drop in temperature, hear phantom whispers, or see a dark, shadowy figure, the Midnight Man is near. Again, you have to keep moving and protect your candle's flame. I would already be fucked because my candle's flame would be out and I would not be able to get it lit again.
I think I'd be freaking out.
So at 3:33, the game ends. You may now turn on all the lights in your home. And probably the most creepy part of the whole thing is don't assume that just because the game is over that the Midnight Man has left. Some players say that once you've played, he never truly leaves. He's always watching, even now. That one was kind of creepy. But it was a good one.
Yep.
So, the next one I heard on the podcast Scared to Death. I heard about this one, and it's a good one too. So, this one is called the Three Kings Ritual. In this game, you have to follow the rules to the T.
To the T?
Yep. If you mess any of the rules up, you break any of them, you're...
Alright.
Honestly, I don't even like calling it a game. It's a ritual.
Okay.
So, as a side note, this has nothing to do with the voodoo ritual of the same name. It's a different thing all together. Some of the things you need for this game point to a more ritualistic nature, but it's totally different than the voodoo one. Just coincidence, their name's the same. Okay, so there are warnings with this game as well. So if you do not wake up at 3:30 a.m., do not continue. Just abandon it there. If you return to your prepared room to find the door closed, do not continue and leave the house, taking everyone in the house with you, and do not return before 6 a.m. If the fan is turned off or no longer working, do not continue and leave the house, taking everyone in the house with you, and do not return before 6 a.m. Do not let your candle go out before the ritual is complete. Do not at any point look directly into the two mirrors. It is said that what you see there may pull your consciousness and you can become trapped by the kings. Do not leave your throne before 4:34 a.m. And most importantly, do not go into this ritual all cocky and disrespectful because it will not end well for you or your ritual partner. So there is a risk level that is with this one. This is said this one is said to be one of the riskiest because it actually involves ritualistic elements and is supposed to summon spirits. Not only that, but you're also holding on to a candle for an hour. So before you do it, you need to make sure it's something that you really want to do. Now that all that is said and out of the way, okay, so the list of supplies that you need is long, but you need every single piece in order to play. Do not leave anything out at all.
Absolutely nothing.
Nope, nothing. So you need a large, quiet room, preferably with no windows. If you do have to use a room with windows, you need to cover them up so that way no light from outside gets into the room. The room should also have a door that will close and latch securely. You need a candle, preferably a sturdy candle that won't burn out or burn down quickly. A lighter, because obviously you have to light the candle.
Yeah.
A small bucket of water and a clean mug or cup. An electric fan, 2 large mirrors, an alarm clock, 3 chairs, a fully charged cell phone, a partner that you trust to follow the rules and take the game seriously, and then a small object that holds sentimental or emotional value to you. You got all that?
Yeah.
Okay, it's a long list. So,
Let's hear it.
at 11 p.m., you should begin your setup for the Three Kings ritual. In your chosen room, place one of your chairs facing north. This is your throne. You will then place the other 2 chairs on either side of the throne facing toward it. These chairs belong to the queen and the fool, and they should be at an arm's distance from the throne. You secure one mirror onto the queen's chair and the other onto the fool's. Sitting on the throne, you should be able to see your reflection in the periphery of your vision without having to turn and look. So you'll place your bucket of water and your chosen cup or mug in front of the throne, just barely out of reach. You want them close enough just in case you need them, but not so close that you might trip over them. You place the fan behind the throne and turn it on, but it cannot be on high. It should be on medium or low. You turn the lights off and leave the room, making sure the door is left open, and you go to your bedroom. You place your cell phone, candle, and lighter close to the bed so you can reach them easily without having to hunt for them. You need to make sure your phone is fully charged and set your alarm clock for 3:30 a.m. Take your chosen object, you get into bed, and now you go to sleep. So, when your alarm goes off at 3:30 a.m., you get out of bed, light the candle, and grab your phone. You keep your sentimental object with you at all times. You have 3 minutes to get back to your prepared room. When you enter this room, you close the door behind you. Your chosen partner in this ritual should wait right outside the door and be as quiet as possible. Protecting your candle flame, you take your place. Your body should block the wind from the fan behind and keep it from burning or blowing out the candle. The idea here is that you should slump to the side during your time in the room. The candle will be blown out by the fan, ending the ritual. So if you don't sit just right, the fan is going to blow your candle out, which you can't have that happen. Your candle has to stay lit.
Right, yeah.
So again, do not at any point look directly into the mirrors on either side of you. You also don't want to stare directly into the candle flame for obvious reasons. So assuming you have made it to your throne by 3:33 a.m. and all has gone right, you may now begin to activate part of the ritual by asking questions aloud. It may take time, but again, assuming you've done everything correctly, you will soon be joined by the kings who will answer your questions. It is said you will actually hear their voices. But remember, no matter how startled or how unsettling, do not look into the mirror.
They do not.
No, not.
That makes it tempting, though.
Right, I know. But do you want the kings to like trap you in the Okay. You have to remember to take this very seriously. This isn't a time to ask stupid questions. No matter what they say, stupid questions are real. I feel like you and I both know that.
For sure.
You have 1 hour with the kings to ask whatever you want. Just don't ask stupid questions. Be prepared for the answers you may not like, because some of them you might not. And then you also need to be prepared for questions, answers to your questions. Which I have to say, that would piss me off. I can't stand when I ask a question and somebody responds with a question. That irritates me so.
Michael does that shit to me all the time. It makes me mad.
Drives me crazy. I'll ask Mike a question. What do you mean? What I just said. Like, I don't get why you're asking me what I meant. I mean what I just said.
Like, how can I be more clear?
Exactly. Logan's doing that now, and I'm like, oh my God. How can I be more specific to you? Because I don't know how else to say it. Okay. Again, you do not let the candle go out during your session. At 4:34 a.m., your friend on the other side of the door should call out to you that the game has ended. If you do not respond, they should try calling your phone instead. If and only if neither of these methods succeed in getting your attention, they should then enter the room to try to snap you out of the ritual by calling your name. But they should not, under any circumstances, touch you. And if that doesn't work, then they take the cup and throw water in your face. That's what the bucket of water is for. If you find yourself in a conscious state and it's turn, you focus on the personal item that you brought with you and let it guide you back to a waking state. So your sentimental item is like basically your anchor to. As soon as you that time for the ritual is up, you should stand up, blow out the candle, and leave the room to signify closure. You want to make sure you it does not say what happens if you do not end the game at the time that you should. All it says is that it does not end well for you. So make sure you end the game on time and that your friend doesn't fall asleep outside the door. Because if I get trapped inside of a mirror because my friend falls asleep, I'm not going to be happy. Just saying. So the next one is a paranormal ritual. You try to take pictures. This one too has some warnings to give ahead of time. Do not step into the circle at any time during the game. If anyone starts to cry or begins to feel sick during the game at any point, do not allow them to take photos. If anybody starts to act strange or not like themselves, in the game immediately. And if anyone says out loud that they are scared or afraid, in the game immediately, or else it will take advantage of this person. So now on to the game. So this one, trying to take photos, is obviously called the picture game. In order to play this, you need at least 2 people, but the more you have, the better. You'll need a long string or rope, a small mirror for each player, a camera with a flash, a glass, and either scissors or a knife. So first, you'll make a circle with the rope or string and tie a knot in it. You place this in the center of the room. You fill the glass with a little bit of alcohol and place it in the center of the rope circle. Next, each person will sit around the circle on the outside, not on the inside, holding their mirrors in front of them pointed up towards the ceiling. Now you turn off the lights and everyone closes their eyes and holds hands. Each person says one after the other, "I trust you." Now that each one of you has said, "I trust you," everyone will say in unison 3 times, "The door is open, please come in." After that, everyone will open their eyes. Now you will pass the camera that you've brought around the circle. Each player gets the camera. They say out loud, "I caught you," and take a picture pointing forward in front of them with the flash on. Do not look at the preview of the photo. As soon as you take the photo, you pass the camera on to the next person. The camera must pass all the way around the circle 3 times. At the end, everyone will close their eyes again and say 3 times in unison, "It is time to go home." Then everyone will turn their mirrors face down. You turn on the lights, use the scissors or knife to cut the rope circle open. You take the alcohol outside and pour it into the dirt. And now you can look at the and see if you caught a ghost in your camera. I don't want to see the face of a ghost in my camera.
Hell no.
No, because that would creep me the fuck out, and I would probably have to burn my house down.
He'd be like, "I'm out. I'm out."
Yep. Fuck it. Burn it down. Get the insurance, buddy. Done. Okay, so this next one is super creepy. Even for me, it's kind of creepy.
All right, let's hear it. Or what's it about? Let's hear it.
It is called Devil Face.
Devil face. That's different.
Yeah. It has a warning. Do not play this if you do not wish to see the devil's face. So this game is said to be far from safe, and it's probably not one that should be played, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
Why
And
you say not to be played or should not be played?
hey, I'm warning you, okay?
All
What you
right.
choose to do is what you choose to do, but I'm warning you. You shouldn't play it, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway.
All right, let's hear it.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you about a story of someone that did play this game. And then you can decide if it's real and if you want to play it.
Okay.
So this is a one-person game, and the only thing you need is a bathroom with a mirror and 12 black candles. So just before midnight, you'll lock yourself in the bathroom and turn off the lights. Next, you stand in front of the mirror and light all 12 candles. You close your eyes and keep them closed until the clock strikes midnight. Then you open your eyes and you'll see the face of the devil looking back at you from the mirror. Doesn't sound too bad, right?
No, it doesn't.
Well, one story about a 16-year-old boy in Spain tried to see the devil's face. He would benefit. So, a group of kids were having a party in Oviedo, Spain. The room was full of fun and laughter. One of these parties was a 16-year-old boy named David. The group was, of course, talking about different random things as kids do. Most of these stories were fun and entertaining, but one tale in particular caused some concern for those who had just showed up to the party. This story was told by a girl named Safia. She was a goth girl dressed in all black with studs in her nose. Everyone was in complete shock when she told them she knew how the devil's face appeared. Most of them thought it was just a joke or something that she'd made up, but they were still kind of scared. Safia told them she had played this game before. There was a ritual, and that it had to be done at exactly midnight. She told them to play the way I just told you. Most of the teams dismissed it, of course, but David didn't. He said he would do it. Most likely to show off and impress the girls. Because, he's a 16-year-old boy. So some of the girls had tried to talk him out of it, while some of the boys, of course, went to a nearby school by the campus. By the time night fell, they had everything they needed, and David went into the bathroom. The other teens had stood outside waiting. Then the clock struck midnight, and there was nothing. It was completely silent. Nothing happened. It was pretty anticlimactic. So the teens in the bathroom to come out, but David didn't answer. They began to worry something happened to David. So the boys got a crowbar and pried at the lock until the door swung. Upon looking inside the room, they all felt a sense of distress. David was found lying on the floor and clutching his chest. The room smelled of sulfur. David, a 16-year-old boy, had suffered a stroke. The entire side of his body was paralyzed and he wasn't able to. He never recovered and was never able to talk. The other teens, well, they were all traumatized and couldn't sleep for months. It's up to you. Is it all a bunch of BS tomfoolery? Do you really see the devil's kind of creeped me out a little. So the next one isn't really scary. The setup really isn't all that difficult, but it could turn scary very fast. This is the pencil game. It's an old Mexican tradition. It's a supernatural ritual used to contact ghosts. It's also sometimes called Charlie, Charlie, Are You There? Or the Charlie, Charlie Challenge. And there's a variation of the game called Six Pencils. So some people believe that the ghost you're contacting in this game is that of a young boy who had killed himself, while others believe you're actually contacting a demon. So for this one, you only need a piece of paper and 2 pencils. First, you'll take the paper and draw 2 lines that form a cross. You'll write the word yes in the top left and bottom right section, and write no in the top right and the bottom left corners. Next, you'll place the 2 pencils on the line, one going across left to right and the other up and down. Both pencils will bounce on top of each other along the lines that you drew. You will now say, "Charlie, Charlie, can we play?" out loud. Charlie will either point to yes or no. Now, you will ask different yes or no questions that Charlie will answer. To end the game, you must chant, "Charlie, Charlie, can we stop?" When you get a yes, you say goodbye and remove the pencils from the paper to break contact. But if Charlie says no, you have to keep playing until he tells you that you can end the game.
So it's up to Charlie.
Yep. So you could be stuck playing a game with this ghost or demon for like ever.
Really?
Yep.
That's not creepy at all?
No. So I don't know if you've heard of this one. I've heard of it. This one is the elevator game. So, what if elevators could take you to otherworldly dimensions? One, that according to legend, you may have some supernatural experiences along the way. This one may do just that and possibly even more. But you must be careful because there's no guarantee that you'll find your way back. So, it's more commonly known as the elevator game, but some places call it another world. It's another paranormal game and it comes from Japan. So to go to another world, you will need to play this in a building with an elevator that has at least 10 floors. To begin, you'll get into the elevator and it must be empty. And you must get into the elevator alone. You'll take it to the first floor. If someone gets on the elevator while you're doing it, it won't work and you have to restart. You do not get out of the elevator on any of the floors for any reason. Now, you will take the elevator to each of these floors in this order. You will go to the 4th floor, then to the 2nd, then you'll go to the 6th floor, then back to the 2nd floor. Then you will go to the 10th floor. Once you get to the 10th floor, you will press the button for the 5th floor. When you reach the 5th floor, the doors will open and a young woman will enter the elevator with you. Do not, for any reason, talk to this young woman. As soon as she enters, you press the button for the 1st floor. But if it works correctly, going down the 1st floor, the elevator will go up to the 10th floor. This is your last chance to go the game. You press the button for a floor, the ritual will not work. But once the elevator reaches the 9th floor, there's no going. There's really only one way the ritual turns on. If you arrive to another, you'll be the only person. So what really happens once you reach this other world is unknown. The only thing that is known for certain is that the woman that entered the elevator on the 5th floor is not human.
Not human.
Nope.
On the 5th floor?
Yep. That's why you can't talk to her. Do not talk to her. She's not human. It's not going to turn out well.
Just keep on walking.
Yep. So in order to get back to our world, you have to do the ritual in reverse. But there's no guarantee that you'll get back. So, some Japanese people that have done the ritual and have completed it successfully and made it back here have made claims. According to them, the other world looks like the building that you began the game in. The lights are off, and in the distance, you see a red sky. There are no other living things there except you. Some say electronics don't work there, while some say that they do. They also say that getting back to our world is harder than getting to the other world is. They say while trying to get back, you become disoriented and forget which elevator you came on. And in some cases, the elevator seems to get further and further away as you walk towards it.
Huh.
So you might just end up trapped in a different world where you're the only person there.
All right.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
So, Ashley, are you ready to summon Drybone, the demon, for a game of hide and seek?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm not sure if you actually want to play this one, though.
Why is that?
It seems to tempt fate and maybe even push the bounds of opening a door that you can't close.
Huh.
So, this one does have potential to be dangerous. This one is said to be dabbling with the. So, with this one, if you choose to play it, you may potentially be messing around with some things that you don't understand. And in the end, you could end up losing your mind, risk dying, or losing your soul.
You said risk dying or losing your soul.
Or you lose your mind. You know, you might come out okay, but
You don't know.
so this is another game that you complete on your own. And this one, all you need is a mirror, a candle, and a box of matches. So to prepare for this one, you have to close all the doors and the windows inside your house. You got to close all the cupboards, the closets, basically anything with a door, close it. So turn off all the lights in the house, along with any TVs, computers, anything that puts off any kind of light.
Okay. Weird.
You will begin this game at exactly 12:01 a.m. You go to the bathroom and look into the mirror. Make sure that everything is silent. If you hear strange noises, it means that he is already there, so you need to abort the game and leave the house immediately. If you don't hear anything, then you're good to continue. So, you think of something that you want. This will be your prize if you win the game. So, make sure the thing you think of is worth it. So, now you strike a match and you light the candle. Do not blow out the match. Let the match burn out on its own. If the match lasts for 15 seconds or more, you may continue. If it doesn't, don't continue. Be done.
Be done.
You lie on the floor and recite the following. I am aware of your presence and I welcome you into my home. Come now. Then you go to the largest room in your house and you wait. How long this step takes varies. It could take minutes or it could take hours. Which I'm just going to say here, I'm not about to sit around in the largest room in my house and wait for hours for some damn demon to come play hide and seek with me.
Oh, absolutely not.
Like, I got shit to do. I don't have time for this. But for those that want to, you have to be patient and wait until he is ready. When he is ready, you will hear a faint moaning sound. If you hear anything other than the moaning sound, abort the game and leave the house immediately.
Run, don't walk.
Right, exactly. When you hear the moaning sound begin, you must run and hide. You have to stay in this hiding place and hope he doesn't find you. In order to win the game, you must remain hidden until 3 a.m. During this time, he will search for you. You have to stay hidden and completely quiet. Do not make any noises at all, and don't make any quick movements, because that
Hell,
will
don't even breathe.
right. Hold your damn breath, because these things will make it easier for him to find you. Once 3 a.m. hits, the game is over and you can come out. You must then go back to the largest room in the house and say thank you for playing, but you must leave now. You are no longer welcome. You will hear a groan and he will leave. If you manage to successfully hide, then you have won, and your prize will be waiting outside your front door the next morning. But what happens if you lose? No one knows. The dry bones demon does whatever he wants to. So he can do anything to or with you. Whatever he wants. But
No, thank you.
what is known is that whatever he decides to do is not pleasant.
Hmm.
So, is the prize of having whatever you want worth the risk of having the demon do whatever he wants to you?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah, no. I'm going to say no. But hey, some people, might think it is. I don't know. So, now we have another scary game from Japan. And it is based on another Japanese legend about a 20-year-old woman who was murdered. Her body was then dismembered, and when her body parts were found, that after they had been strewn all around the villa, all except her left thumb were found.
Weird.
This is the thumb game. So the object of the game is to find the missing thumb. If you find it, you will have one wish granted. So before we start, this one too has a warning and some rules. So under no circumstances do you look behind you. No matter what happens, do not look behind you.
Absolutely do not.
If you do, you will die and never return from the villa. You will remain in the villa for eternity, tapping on other people's shoulders twice and then brutally killing them. So don't do it.
Don't do it.
Now for the rules. Do not let go of anyone's thumb. Do not open your eyes. Do not allow the candle to burn out. And again, do not look behind you. So for this game, you need at least 3 people. The first step is to form a circle sitting on the ground. You will then grab a hold of the left thumb of the person sitting on your right. While the game is in progress, do not let go of this person's thumb for any reason. Because if you do, once the game is over, their thumb will be missing. Yep. So not only could you die, you could lose a thumb.
That's creepy. Nope.
So now everyone has to close their eyes and imagine that they are in a villa where the woman was murdered and dismembered. You have to take it seriously or it won't work. So while the game is in progress, you do not open your eyes. So now everyone chants the following. And I did not look up how you say this, so I'm going to say it wrong because it's in Japanese. So everyone bear with me because I didn't look it up. I totally meant to, and then I forgot. Ayubi, Ayubi, hear our voices. Ayubi, Ayubi, grant our wish. You will then be transported to a room that you've never seen before. It's in a Western style villa with only one single candle in the room. This is where you will start the search for the thumb, and you must start immediately. You have until the candle burns out to find the severed thumb. So, to get back from the villa, you simply blow out the candle. I'm done. I want to go home. You just blow it out.
Yep, done.
So, while you're inside the villa, you might feel somebody tap you on your shoulder twice. But again, do not look behind you. Because if you do, you won't come back. So don't do it.
Don't do it.
If you're able to find the thumb, you have to hold on to it tightly in your hand and then blow out the candle. You'll return and your wish will be granted. If you can't find the thumb, blow out the candle and just return. Do not let the candle burn out on its own, because if you do, you'll be stranded in the villa because you won't have any way back. So our next game comes from none other than Japan. They got some creepy ass shit over there. I'm telling you.
Apparently.
So this one is called the Answer Man. So for this one, you need 10 players. 10 against 1 seems like pretty good odds, right?
Right, yeah.
Well, not always. And this game makes those odds look even worse. So in it, 10 players gather in a circle with their cell phones. Each one calls the person to their left simultaneously. All of the players except one will hear a busy signal, or the call will go to voicemail. For one player, though, a voice on the other end will answer. And this player may ask the voice, who is the answer man, a burning question that they have. However, always remember that no one ever gives anything away for free, including the answer man. The information he provides will come at a terrible price. So how far are you willing to go for answers? That one's not all that scary, but like everybody's calling each other and you hear a voice on the other end. That alone would creep me the fuck out.
Like, nope, I'm good.
Right, exactly. So our next game is a good one. It comes from Mexico. This is a game that is said to have caused a number of kids to be sent to psychiatrists or even be placed into mental asylums because they did not end the game correctly. So, if you decide to play this game, be sure you end it right because you might end up on the list of those driven crazy. So, this game has a legend attached to it. So, I'm going to tell you the legend, then I'm going to tell you how to play it.
All right.
The legend says that years ago, there were two girls, twin sisters, who went to school in Mexico. Their names were Sarah and Sarita. They were very close. Each wore a matching coin on a chain around their neck. The girls are said to have been beautiful. These two sometimes stayed behind after school for cheer practice. One day that they stayed behind, they hadn't realized that practice had been canceled. The janitor at their school knew it had been, and when he seen one of the girls go into the bathroom on her own, he followed. Inside the bathroom, he attacked her horribly before he strangled her. The other sister got worried about her twin, so she went to check on her. When she entered the bathroom, she found this creepy weirdo janitor standing over her sister's now dead body. He seen her and attacked her too. She was on her toes though. And for some weird reason, a shovel was in the bathroom. I'm not really sure why.
Right.
But there was a random shovel in the bathroom. So she grabbed it and hit him in the head. She hit him so many times that she had thought she killed him. She turned to go find help, and when she did, he grabbed her and placed her head into the water tank, which I think is like a sink, and he drowned her. He then tied a piece of rope around the neck of the first twin that he had killed and hung her from the bathroom door. When their bodies were found and the police were called, it was believed that the sisters had gotten into a fight and killed each other. They closed the case as a murder-suicide. The girls' broken chains were found on the bathroom floor, one on heads, the other on tails. Legend says that the janitor was never caught for what he did and even moved away after never speaking to anyone in their town again. So now for the game of Sarah Sarita. So some people have claimed that this game is hard to get out of. There are reports that even though they ended it properly, it didn't really end. Hours after playing, they could sense something was wrong. So they asked Sarah Sarita, "Am I still in your game?" And when they threw the coin to get their answer, it was yes. So be careful with this one because you may end up stuck in a game that you want out of. This game involves contacting the ghosts of those two young girls in the legend. This game is similar to the pencil game. It's a lot more creepy. So for this game, you need 2 players and 2 coins of the same value. First, you both sit on the ground facing each other holding a coin in your hand. You both say out loud, "Sarah Sarita, can I enter your game?" You throw the coin over your head so that it lands on the ground behind you. The face on the coin determines the answer. So, if you get 2 coins that land on heads, then it means yes. If both coins land on tails, it means no. If one lands on heads and the other lands on tails, then it's a maybe. Okay, so you follow the faces of the coins and the answers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, if you both get a yes, then you can begin the game. So, you ask a question, you throw the coin over your head, and you look and see what your answer is. It's extremely important to end the game properly, or they say bad things will happen. In order to end this game, you need to ask for permission. By asking, "Sarah Sarita, can I leave your game?" You throw the coin over your head and look at your answer. If she tells you no, then you have to keep asking, "Sarah Sarita, can I leave your game?" until she says yes. So, like the pencil game, you could be stuck playing a game with a ghost that you really don't want to play. Okay. So we got 2 left.
Alright, let's hear them.
So there's a superstition that if you look into one of the corners of a dark room before you go to sleep, the ghost will come and haunt you. There's also a myth that corners are very unlucky. Ghosts that are seen are often seen in corners, and when you imagine a corner, it's dark and creepy. Well, why not combine that with a game? And hopefully, nobody mysteriously disappears in the shadow of the night. This is the corner game. So this game requires 4 players. A few important things to remember when playing this game are: do not say anything other than your name when you're not supposed to talk. So if you're not the signal person, don't say anything but your name. Do not bring anyone that is not playing. Do not for any reason talk to the ghosts. Do not pretend to be the ghost to scare other players. Do not use flashlights, candles, or any other small light source. While running, you can only use the light when a player disappears or players run into each other. You have to face the wall. Don't just close your eyes. Do not enter the room alone after you have played. And lastly, make sure you follow all of the game rules. So, some things that you'll need will be an empty room without furniture and a light source. It's best if it's not a small light source. It needs to be like a regular light. So, if you play, first you have to clear out the house. No other people that aren't playing, no pets, nothing, or else the ritual will not take place. Next, you'll turn off all the lights in the house except for in the room that you're playing in. Once each player enters the room, they each call out their own name 3 times. Then you have to talk amongst yourselves and decide who's going to give out the signals. This is important because someone could get hurt if you don't have a signal person or if everybody's confused. So, someone speaks out that's not the designated talker, that can cause the entire group to get hurt. So, assign this role, make sure everybody knows who this person is, nobody else talks. So now you close the door and turn out the light. Each player picks a corner and stands in it facing the wall. The player that is giving the signals says 1, 2, 3, and everyone runs to the next corner. If you accidentally run into another player during this, you have to turn the light on and restart. After the signal person has said 1, 2, 3, and everyone runs to the new corner, someone will disappear. The signal person will let everyone know that someone has disappeared by giving a signal, obviously. Once the signal is given, you say your name backwards 3 times, stand against the wall with your back pressed against it, and turn the light on. The person that disappeared will now reappear. If someone is just standing still, then you know the ghost has joined and wants to play too. No matter what, do not talk to it. You should decide on a signal to let everyone know that the ghost is there. That's important. In order to end the game, once the ghost has appeared, you must go behind them. All 4 players gather together with their backs against the wall, and each player must say their name backward 3 times and immediately turn on the lights. After the game, you have to open all the doors, air the room out, and don't go back into it for a few minutes. And that's the corner game. That's it for that one. So, for our last game, we're going to go back to Japan. So, again, I'm going to say this wrong.
You're going to say it wrong?
Yep, because it's in Japanese. Tutsuji Ura, also known as the fortune game. So this one is a Japanese fortune-telling game. This game was created because a long time ago, it was extremely popular for one to partake in Tutsuji Ura, or crossroads fortune-telling. In Europe, this was called crossroads divination. Okay, so I have a fun fact for you. This game was so popular that the Japanese produced little crackers with fortunes inside. These were called Tutsuji Ura Senbai, which means crossroads fortune-telling cracker. Years later, following the war in America, Chinese restaurants adopted these Japanese crackers, and we know them as fortune cookies. So, those little cookies that you get after every time you go eat at a Chinese restaurant come directly from this game. So, I do have to caution you not to play the game.
Not to play it.
Yep. But we get our fortune cookies from the game, so
Alright.
we gotta talk about it.
Alright, let's talk about it.
So, years ago, some Japanese people had committed suicide after playing this game because they did not like the prediction of their future that they were given. But if you believe you're strong enough and can handle whatever future you're told, here's how you play. So for this, you need a comb and something to cover your face with. You can do this alone or with friends. So first, you take your comb and go to a crossroads in the evening or after dark. Next, you'll run your finger across the teeth of the comb to make it, make that sound that it makes when you do that. You'll do this 3 times. You'll then chant 3 times, Tutsi Ura, grant me a true response. You then wait for a stranger to walk past. It has to be a stranger. It won't work if it's somebody that you know. So when you see this stranger approaching, you cover your face with something. If there are other people with you, then they have to cover their faces too. Ask the stranger to tell you your fortune. If this stranger doesn't answer or refuses to tell you, then you have to wait for another stranger to walk by and you ask them to tell you your future. In Europe, it was believed that the dead walked the streets at night, and that the devil could be found at the crossroads at night, disguising himself in human form. So, if you decide to play this game, remember that the stranger telling you your fortune could just be the devil himself. And that's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Huh.
Yep. I mean, it's a fortune telling game. There's really not much to it.
That's not right.
So, that's it. That's the spooky games. Some of them were fun,
And there'll be more.
but some of them were fucking creepy. Yep. Some of them is like, no, I'm
No,
good.
not doing it. I'm good.
Yeah. And that's it for the week. Something a little more lighthearted, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Right.
All right.
So, any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll be back on the next Sunday for our regular episode. We hope you keep listening. And remember to
Watch for monsters.
And don't kill people. Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Please be sure to rate and review so we can make sure we give y'all a podcast you love. Be sure to subscribe so you get notifications each week when episodes air.
If you want to send us a case or a topic suggestion, you can email us at monstroustcpod@gmail.com.
Also, be sure to check out our Facebook page for updates along with information and photos for each week's episodes.